I'm in Shenandoah National Park at the Pinnacles Overlook. This is mile marker 35. There's my little red car. And over there on the north side of the overlook is the trailhead for the Hannah Run Trail. I'm going to hike down the Hannah Run Trail for a few miles today to the headwaters. There's Skyline Drive with a bunch of noisy motorcycles. The elevation here is 3320. So I'm going to get started over that way. Here's a view from the overlook. I'm standing on the wall. That's looking to the south. And we'll be hiking down into that hollow down there. That's looking to the north, and over there's a trailhead. Four-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm down to 3,080 feet. It's a really steep trail coming down here. That's where I came from. And that's the way I'm headed. But I stopped here because there's this little, when you get down here, this big boulder. This area right in through here and back in there almost looks like there used to be some old trail going down that way. It's kind of flat back here behind that rock. So I'm thinking hammock camping back there. You need to be off the trail a certain distance, but you could probably do something back there. But for now, we're going to keep on going down. The mountain's steep here, and so's the trail. .3 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2660 elevation. And when you get down to this point, you'll see this trail marker. And the Hannah Run Trail continues off to the right. There's where I came from. That's a pretty steep trail there. So when you get down to here, you'll see this signpost, and then just turn right, and this is Hannah Run Trail continued. I'm at 2660. I got to get down. The headwaters are down around 2,200 feet. So, and it looks like it's about another half a mile. So not too much further, but I got to drop down some couple hundred more feet, which means it's going to be steep. 1.7 miles into my hike. I'm down to 2430. Got to get down about 2,200 feet to get down to the headwaters, but I can hear the headwaters now. It's another 1/10 of a mile. I think it's a 1/10 of a mile straight down though. Jeez, this is steep here. Okay, let's get going. .8 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2,210 feet. And here's the headwaters of Hannah Run. There's where I came from. Man, that is some steep trail right there. That's like 45 degrees or maybe even steeper. There's Hannah Run heading downstream. So I'm going to cross over here. These rocks look pretty slippery though. They're covered with moss and stuff, and they look wet, so oh man, I'm gonna try and get across without falling. And then I got to follow that trail up that steep incline up there a ways, and then head downstream. It's about three tenths of a mile down to the site of the old farmhouse. So let's see if we can get down there, and I'll show you what that looks like. There isn't much left of it though. .9 miles into my hike, I'm up to 2311. There's where I came from, up from the headwaters of Hannah Run. It's only maybe a 1/10 of a mile up here. It's steep on this side of the canyon too. When you get to this bend in the road, and if you look to the outside of the bend, you'll see there's an established campsite here. There's quite a bit of space here. I think this is closer than regulation to the trail, but hey, what can I say? Here it is. And suspiciously looks like maybe firewood laying around, although I don't see really a lot of scorched earth down there. So if there's been fires here, it's been a while. So I'm going to come back up here now and continue on this way. Now it's down again real steep, and till I get down to the site of the old farmhouse. It's about another 2/10 of a mile. .2 miles into my hike, I'm down to a 2180 elevation, and this is the site of the old farmhouse. I'm going to I'll take a bunch of still pictures, and I'm pretty overheated from all this steep hiking, so I may throw up my day hammock and drink some water. There underneath that tree, you can see where they bunch of piled up stones where they terraced off their yard, and actually over there above the tree I see some more of them. So, and then right down there is another feeder stream that runs into Hannah Run. So I suspect whenever they could, they probably got their water out of that feeder stream there, because it's kind of a steep drop from here down to Hannah Run. There's where I came from, and I'll be going back that way. But let me get a few still pictures and throw up my hammock and rest for a few minutes. Well, okay, there's my little lunch setup with my hammock. There's my day pack. And here's where the old house was for reference. It's really hot and buggy up here, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I need to keep moving because I'm being attacked by mosquitoes and other insects. So I'm going to sit here, drink a little bit of water, and then I am going to pack up and start heading back up because it's a long ways up the Skyline Drive. Like, let me see. Oh, I don't have my GPS on right now. It's probably 1,100 foot climb from here. Here's a 360-degree pan of this old farmhouse. There's what's left of the chimney. The house was there. There's some terracing here, which would have been part of their yard, I guess. Hannah runs down over the hill there and way down. Here's the trail coming up, pretty darn steep. I guess it was a wagon road or something once upon a time. There's the hollow down there. Down there where the rocks are, there's a there's a stream, feeder stream that runs down through there. I can hear it from here. This area over here looks kind of cleared out, so they probably utilized that. And there's the trail heading back up the side of the mountain. That's the way I'm going to go back. And back to the old farmhouse. Now you can see why all the 8 counties did memorial chimneys. There's a real one. Wonder who lived here. There's a section of this trail that's turned itself into a feeder stream. Look at that. So if it's been raining, you might want to wear some waterproof. Here's some more of the trail. Turned itself into a feeder stream. Little frog there. Maybe you can see him. Back down to Hannah Run, the headwaters. Feels good here. It's a nice cool breeze. I gotta head back that way up the side of the mountain. .2 miles into my hike. I'm up to 2660. It's pretty steep. This is where the signpost is, and you make a sharp left right here onto Hannah Run Trail continued, and the next 5-6 of a mile is just as steep as the rest of it. So let's see, I've got another about 600 feet of elevation to climb, and it's about 1.3 miles to the top. 3.5 miles into my hike. I'm up to 2850 elevation. That's looking down into the valley. That's where I came from, up the side of the mountain. It's a really steep trail here. Sitting on a log, taking a breath, catching my breath. Then I'm going to continue on up that way. Got about another 400 feet of elevation. Four miles into my hike, I'm up to 2950, which means I got about 300 more feet to climb. There's where I'm headed. I'm sitting on one of these things, big honking tree trunks, 3 or 4 feet across, 3 feet anyway. So I got to catch my breath. This last half mile of the trail is really steep, like maybe 45 degrees. See if I can make it up there to the top where my car is. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Old Rag Mountain 1994. And I hiked a portion, the upper portion of the Hannah Run Trail. This red line here is Skyline Drive. Coming down this way would be coming down from the north. And you park right here at Pinnacle Overlook. This is a mile marker 35. Now the topo map shows Hannah Run Trail coming up here, but it doesn't do that anymore. It comes up here and it goes around this curve and comes up right at the edge of the overlook. Right there's a hole in the stone wall with a signpost directing you to this trail. So you park here at the overlook and then get on the trail here, come around the bend like this, and then this section here is really steep. There's a couple of steep sections here, and you just keep descending until you get down to here. Now when you get down to here, there'll be a concrete signpost and it'll say, I think this is going this way, I think it's called Catlett Mountain Trail. But instead what you do is you make a sharp right turn, and this is Hannah Run Trail Continued. This is fairly flat, but then it starts dropping like crazy again. And this section here is really steep. It's not really a trail, it's mostly just stone steps going down. Until you get down to here, these are the headwaters of Hannah Run. And there was a pretty good flow there today. So you cross over that, then you've got to climb up the other side of the canyon, which is also pretty steep, until you get down to here. So this is how far I came. When you get to here, you'll see a chimney and some stonework from where they terraced off their yard from this old farmhouse right here. Now, if you want to, you can continue on down Hannah Trail for quite a ways, dropping in elevation all the way. But this was enough for me. This down here and back, well, the climb out of here ended up being like 1,564 feet in maybe 2 miles. So pretty darn steep. So I had lunch down here and then turned around and came back up same way I went down, back up to here. Real nice hike. There's a lot of different things to see along the Hannah Run Trail. Some sections are real steep and rocky. Other sections are a little bit flatter. Down here in this area, there's quite a bit of mountain laurel. It's not in bloom now, but a lot of mountain laurel. And there's a few wildflowers still blooming up in the mountains. Today was a pretty miserable day to hike. It was normally it's colder up here in the mountains than it is down in the valley, but today it was pretty hot up here. It was about I think it was 95 in Warrenton, or 90 maybe, and it was about 85 up here, dead calm, no wind, and high humidity. And this is a pretty strenuous hike, by the way. It ended up being 4.5 miles, and the ascent was 1,564 feet. So, nice hike. It's got a little more ascent than a regular hike in the park, but if you want to come down here and see an actual and authentic chimney from the old days where people lived here on the mountain, before the park was formed, the chimney's still standing right here. And that was the hike for today.